Rams house, welcome into a brand new episode of the Rams Report presented by Prize Picks. Guys, on today's show, I thought we'd take a little bit of a break from the training camp beats updates, which we'll be getting back to later today. Don't you worry, we'll have more training camp news for you. And we're going to take a look at an ESPN article that came out recently ranking the top 50 most impactful moves of the 2026 offseason. And predictably so, the Rams have a couple of moves that made the cut. And honestly, what I think is the best offseason anybody had in the entire NFL. So many good moves to choose from the Rams. You could pick a free agent signing, a big trade that we made. We had two of them for Garrett and McDuffie, or any of the draft picks. Let me know what was your favorite move the Rams made this offseason. I have a feeling, and it's a sneaking suspicion, that I know who's going to win this poll, that I know which move is going to be your guys' favorite. But just for the fun of it, let me know in the comments, what was your favorite move the Rams made this offseason? And I do think there's going to be a few of you that pick our first one up here, coming in 18th on the top 50 moves. Jaylen Watson, the addition of the former Chiefs corner in free agency. One of two Chiefs corners who we added. Don't you worry, the other one's coming up in just a minute here. But let's talk about Jaylen Watson first. Let's hear from Matt Bowen of ESPN, his little write-up on why Watson is a top 50 move. And not even a top 50 move, a top 20 move for the Rams. Look for Watson to play as the boundary corner opposite McDuffie in Shula's defense, using his length to challenge in press and his route awareness to play top down in zone schemes. Watson has had 3 interceptions and 23 PBUs over 4 pro seasons and was another secondary upgrade for the Rams. Damn right he was, and he comes in on a cost-effective contract. 3-year deal for Jaylen Watson, $51 million, average of 17, and it guarantees him just about half of that contract at $26.5 million. And if you want to see the year-by-year splits, we've got those for you as well. Because, again, this is smart cap structuring by the Rams here. By the final year of this deal, there's almost no dead money on it. It's a $21 million salary. Would be a very nice payday for Jaylen Watson if he's still around. And I hope that he 100% is still a Ram. Maybe we do a little restructuring of that deal. But the Rams have protected themselves in this instance. If there's any fall off in Jaylen Watson's play, that's okay. We can move on in 2028 with very little cost, or even in 2027 and still save a little bit of money. So cap savings on both of these 2 years if they were to move on from Jaylen Watson, if this doesn't end up clicking. But I really do think that it is going to end up clicking for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's getting to play with his buddy again. Trent McDuffie and Jaylen Watson had so much success working together in Kansas City. That success culminated in a Super Bowl win for Kansas City as well. Those two guys have had proven success. Even last year, in a down year for the Kansas City Chiefs, those two guys were still great. Those two guys still played well. They helped support a defense that was not the problem for that Kansas City team last season. You go back and watch any of that. If you did watch any of Kansas City last year, that defense was not the issue. Those two guys were part of the solution, even though it ultimately wasn't enough. And last season was the best year of his career by far, stepping up into the role as a full-time starter for Kansas City. He did so excellently. Once again, across from Trent McDuffie. McDuffie had to miss a little bit of time, and he played corner one in a couple games as well and did so incredibly well. I think, again, he is a huge upgrade to this unit, and we're going to talk more about the unit in its totality in just a minute when we talk about our next move. But these next two moves that we are about to discuss, guys, both made ESPN's top 3. Coming up, we've got 2 more moves to discuss, both of which are in ESPN's top 3. Stay tuned with me, but before we get to that, I've got to give a shout out to Prize Picks, the sponsor of today's video and America's #1 sports picks app. Guys, if you've ever tuned into the Rams Report before or anything Chat Sports, I know you know all about our friends over at Prize Picks, but if you've never heard of Prize Picks before, it's your first time tuning in, it's time to turn your ball knowledge into cash, my friend, while you you are watching sports action. The PrizePicks app is super easy to use. It is my favorite way to play daily fantasy. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats, and you're locking in your lineup. And guys, with the social feeds feature, you could share PrizePicks with your buddies. You could copy lineups with a single click, and you can even drop a follow on my account. Jackson Durham is my username, and you can see all of my lineups, including this one I had going the other day, which ultimately ended up cashing out. I showed you guys this lineup before it cashed out, but what's really cool about the way it cashed out is the reboot feature. Aaliyah Boston did not finish that game, but PrizePicks says that's okay. They reduced the payout a little bit from 30 to 15, but I still end up taking home a $15 payout on that lineup, even though Aaliyah Boston didn't end up getting there because she did not finish the game. So that's a really cool feature that I love about PrizePicks. And if you guys want to discover everything that's great about PrizePicks with me, then make sure you take advantage of the new user offer when you download the app. It's a new offer. Play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. PrizePicks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to talking about the top 3 moves, I guess, for the Rams that made the top 50 list here. I almost said Kansas City Chiefs. We got 2 Chiefs headshots right here. Trent McDuffie coming in 3rd on this list, and another excellent pick, might I add. And these 2 guys, they really do go together. It's hard to talk about one without talking about the other as far as it goes with this Los Angeles Rams team. Matt Bowen talked about Trent McDuffie saying this. The Rams brought in McDuffie after a 2025 season that featured subpar play from their cornerbacks. Yes, McDuffie has the versatility to move into the slot, but with Quentin Lake at the nickel, I see the veteran corner aligning on the perimeter to the field side of the formation. McDuffie is sticky against quick routes, and he can carry with receivers vertically. This Rams defense has the ability to play more man coverage with McDuffie and free agent signing Jaylen Watson. They absolutely do. And again, this was, unlike Jaylen Watson, a trade acquisition. You go out and make a move for McDuffie. He had 1 more year left on his contract, that 5th-year option season that Kansas City had already picked up. So you trade for him, giving up your first-round pick, that 29th overall, the 5th and 6th-round picks in that same draft, and a 3rd-round pick in next year's draft. And then you give him a monster extension. You pay him a big deal of money here. This is Jaylen Watson's details. Can we get Trent McDuffie's details? All right. You give him a 4-year contract worth $124 million, $31 million average with $100 million guaranteed. Enormous contract. And again, year-by-year breakdowns on this one, smartly organized by the Los Angeles Rams. This one does have rolling guarantee triggers on it, unlike Jaylen Watson's contract. And so what that means is every year that Trent McDuffie is on the roster on, I believe it is I don't have the contract in front of me, but I believe it is the 3rd day of the new league year every season, the money will lock. So these dead cap numbers will quickly change if he's still there. But as you can see here, again, like you talked about with Jaylen Watson, the Rams have structured things smartly where if they're by the off chance that this doesn't work out, the Rams can quickly get out of this deal in 2028 with very little cost. In fact, they'd save a huge amount of cap. They could do it at a dead cap hit next season of $9 million. Again, if this doesn't work out, the Rams will be 100% fine. But again, just like with Jaylen Watson, I really believe that it will. I 100% have faith in Trent McDuffie's ability to come in and be a day 1 impact guy. He's a former All-Pro selection. Again, he's a Super Bowl champion, a guy who helped guide so much success when he was in Kansas City. And I think he's only going to do the same in Los Angeles because, again, what he brings on the field is only one part of it. He's a fantastic football player, no doubt about that. But he's also going to be a leader for a secondary that is young, a secondary that does have good leadership already in Quentin Lake. Captain Q, absolutely a huge part of that. But Captain Q and Trent McDuffie are good buddies from back in the day. They knew each other from their time being high school rivals at John Bosco and Mater Dei, respectively. So these 2 guys lead together. They have so much respect for each other. You can hear it in the way they talk to one another, the way they talk about one another. they're going to lead these young guys like Kam Kinchens, Kam Curl, a little bit of a veteran leader in his own right, Jaylen Watson coming along, but Emmanuel Forbes, Cam Lampkin, Josh Wallace, Dre Norwood, Nizer Forcurin, these guys need that kind of veteran leadership. And if you go back and listen to Kansas City's corner room, its young guys talk about who Trent McDuffie is. They talk about him like he's a 10-plus year veteran in the league. The guy's 25 years old. His maturity is well beyond his years as a person in the locker room. He is a fantastic addition from that sense alone. And also on the football field, we know who that dude is. But the number one addition of the offseason, number one move of the offseason for the entire NFL and easily for the Rams as well, no disrespect to Trent McDuffie or Jaylen Watson, but all respect to Myles Garrett. It is the trade for Garrett. Matt Bowen summed it up pretty well, saying the Rams went all in this offseason to upgrade the defensive side of the ball for coordinator Chris Shula, and the move to land Garrett tops our list. He was the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year last season while setting the single-season sack record with 23 sacks. As the league's ultimate closer, Garrett has elite physical tools to set edges and hit the quarterback. He'll continue to be a game wrecker for the Rams, which will also boost the overall play of Shula's secondary. It absolutely will. It won't just boost the play of the secondary. Myles Garrett is, and I've used this phrase in the past, it's one of my favorite phrases, so for those of you who watch a lot, you might roll your eyes a little bit. He is the ultimate force multiplier. I love the idea of force multipliers, guys who come into a team both on offense and defense and multiply the impact of other people because they are so good at their job, because they demand so much attention. Puka Nacua, force multiplier for our offense. He draws so much attention from the defense. Myles Garrett does the same thing. Remember how good Aaron Donald was at doing this. It was so good that they coined a phrase for it. The Aaron Donald effect. Edges come in, they work with Aaron Donald, they post double-digit sack seasons, they go get big paydays somewhere else. That was the pattern for years. Shout out Dante Fowler, shout out Leonard Floyd. They got a lot of money because of Aaron Donald. Both good players in their own right as well, though. But their best years, their best seasons playing alongside him, you're going to see that with Myles Garrett, and you'll double see it if Aaron himself returns to this defense. But think about how that affects guys who are already superstars in this league. Byron Young, he's a double-digit sack guy already. What's he going to be when you can't focus on him like that? Man, this move gives me so much to get excited about. You pay a premium price tag for it, I really don't care. Again, I said this when we did it. I said this when it happened. Whatever you're giving up to go get Myles Garrett, it is worth it. He's Myles Garrett. It's as good as it gets on the defensive side of the ball. It's as good as it could possibly be on the defensive side of the ball. He's been borderline unstoppable the last couple of years. His numbers are ridiculous, and he's doing these numbers. He's having this impact on a Browns team that has half the talent we do on defense, even though their defense was good last year. I do not think they're anywhere close to what we are this year to support him. And did not, I repeat, did not ever put him in a position to have a lot of opportunity to get after the passer, because they were always losing games. So everyone's running the football on you because they just want to run out the clock and get out of Cleveland as fast as humanly possible for a lot of different reasons. Myles Garrett has landed with a team that puts him in a position to be successful and he's already incredibly successful. How scary is that? Cleveland was doing everything they could, almost like not through any intention, but doing everything they could to hinder him. And he's still performing like this. He's unlocked now. He's unleashed now. And personally, he's happy about it. Why wouldn't he be? He's moved from Cleveland to Los Angeles. He knows he's on the best team in the NFL, and he is feeling really, really good about it. Stu Jackson, props to Stu Jackson, do a great work out there yesterday, said, ask Myles Garrett, how long does it take to feel like an LA Ram? And he said, how long does it take to feel like that? I don't know. I had a pretty good reception from the fans, and the team continued to rally around me and receive me with open arms. So it's starting to feel like home rather quickly. And then he also followed up when he was asked, and this was another great question from Stu, who said he asked Davante Adams the same question last year. I remember this, about the college-like atmosphere. When he was talking about the culture in the locker room, Davante Adams described it as like being back in college. The connections you make with the guys in the locker room reminded him of that. And Myles agreed. He said it is kind of like that. You hope to have those relationships like you had in college. You had a lot of people coming from a lot of different places for the first time. The culture was set by the head coach, and it feels like that now with Sean McVay. He's so passionate about the game. He's so involved in everything from offense, defense to special teams. That kind of thing is infectious. It just feels natural to want to be around the guys and get to know each other because he is that same way. And I love that. I also love, I shared this on Instagram, if you guys caught it, a clip of Trent McDuffie talking about Sean McVay and his presence in the DB room, the way he's coming in to speak to those guys. You're hearing this from both of the Rams' new acquisitions who've been around, Myles Garrett, not really, but Trent McDuffie's been around Andy Reid. That's a Hall of Fame coach. That's one of the greatest to ever do it. And he's already blown out of the water by what he's experiencing with Sean McVay. Myles Garrett already blown out of the water by what he's experiencing with Sean McVay. He hasn't been around great coaches, but he's been around a lot of coaches in his NFL and college career. And he's already just so impressed with the culture setter, the CEO-style head coach that we have in Sean McVay. Again, we are incredibly blessed to have that guy. He is such a wonderkind. He is absolutely he's turned the direction of this franchise around. It is truly unbelievable what he's been able to do with this Los Angeles Rams team. All right. What can you say? He's going to get a statue outside SoFi one day, and it's going to look absolutely sick. And I think maybe Myles could have one as well. Let's welcome him to Los Angeles for now. He's already feeling like home. Let's help continue that process by spamming 95s down in the comment section to welcome Myles Garrett to the LA Rams one more time. Man, it feels great to say it. Myles Garrett is a Ram, and I'll catch you guys later today for some training camp updates.